The moment Rebecca noticed the man across the dimly lit bar wasn't looking at her like everyone else did, something inside her shifted, and it unsettled her more than she wanted to admit. She was used to attention. As a powerful CEO in downtown Chicago, Rebecca had built a reputation for control, precision, and distance. Men admired her, feared her, or wanted something from her. But this man, this quiet, tired-looking man in a worn jacket, just glanced at her once, then returned to helping his little girl sip from a glass of orange juice like the world outside their small table didn't exist. And somehow that hurt her pride. What would you have done in that moment? Walked away? Or stayed, curious about why someone didn't fall into the orbit you were so used to? Rebecca stayed. She found herself watching him longer than she intended. The way he wiped the child's mouth gently. The way he leaned in, listening carefully to her small, animated stories. There was something grounding about him, something painfully real in a life Rebecca had long polished into perfection. His name was Marcus. She only learned that because she forced herself to introduce herself, breaking a rule she never broke, approaching someone first. Marcus was polite but reserved. His eyes carried a weight she couldn't quite understand, like he had seen things no one should ever see. He mentioned he worked odd jobs, mostly construction and repairs. A single dad. His wife had passed years ago. Rebecca, who commanded boardrooms with ease, found herself struggling to keep a conversation going, but she came back the next night, and the next, until slowly something impossible began to happen. She started looking forward to seeing him. Not the high-profile investors, not the million-dollar deals. Him. Marcus never tried to impress her. He didn't know who she really was at first, and even when he found out, nothing changed. That unsettled her more than anything else ever had. For the first time in years, she felt like she wasn't being seen for her title or her wealth. She was just Rebecca, but Marcus carried shadows. Sometimes his gaze would drift far away, even while sitting right in front of her. Sometimes, loud noises in the bar made his body tense in a way that didn't match the calm man he tried to be. And sometimes, when his daughter laughed too loudly, he would close his eyes for just a second like he was holding something back. Rebecca noticed everything, and yet she didn't ask. Because for the first time in her life, she was afraid of the answer. Weeks turned into months, and what started as curiosity became something deeper, something warmer. Rebecca found herself doing things she hadn't done in years, cooking dinner, laughing without thinking, sitting quietly without checking her phone every few seconds. Marcus never rushed her, never pushed, never asked for anything, and that made her fall harder. But love doesn't arrive without testing the ground it lands on. One night everything changed. Rebecca had invited Marcus and his daughter to a company gala, something she immediately regretted the moment they stepped inside. The flashing cameras, the loud music, the suffocating crowd, it was her world, but it clearly wasn't his. Marcus tried for her, but halfway through the evening a champagne glass shattered on the floor nearby, and in an instant Marcus wasn't there anymore. His body reacted before his mind could catch up. He pulled his daughter close, dropping low, scanning the room with sharp, trained precision. His breathing changed. His eyes darkened into something cold and alert. People stared. Rebecca froze, because that wasn't fear, that was instinct. Trained instinct. The moment passed quickly, but the damage was done. Marcus realized where he was, stood up, and without saying much, took his daughter and left. Rebecca stood there, surrounded by luxury, feeling emptier than she ever had. What would you have done? Chased him, or let him disappear back into the quiet life he came from? Rebecca didn't sleep that night, and the next morning she went looking for answers. What she found shattered everything she thought she knew. Marcus wasn't just a construction worker. He wasn't just a single dad trying to get by. He was a former Special Forces operative, a decorated one, multiple tour overseas, classified missions. A man who had seen war up close, who had lost brothers in ways Rebecca couldn't even begin to imagine. He had walked away from it all after his wife died, choosing to raise his daughter instead of continuing a life built on violence. And suddenly everything made sense. The silence, the distance, the pain in his eyes. Rebecca felt a wave of guilt crash over her. She had fallen in love with him without ever truly seeing him, and now she didn't know if she deserved to. Days passed. Marcus didn't call, didn't text, didn't come back. Rebecca tried to bury herself in work, but it didn't work anymore. The boardroom felt cold. The deals felt meaningless. For the first time in her life, success felt like a hollow victory, because none of it mattered if she had lost the one person who made her feel human again. Finally, she went to find him, not as a CEO, but as a woman who was afraid she had let something real slip away. She found him outside a small, worn-down house, fixing a broken fence while his daughter played nearby. The scene was simple, almost fragile in its normalcy, and it broke her heart. Marcus looked up, surprised but not angry, just tired. Rebecca didn't come with rehearsed words or polished speeches. She came with honesty. She told him she knew, not everything, but enough. And for a long moment, Marcus said nothing. Then slowly, he admitted the truth he had been carrying. He wasn't afraid of his past. He was afraid of what it could do to the people he loved. He had spent years learning how to survive, but he didn't know how to live anymore. And he didn't want Rebecca or his daughter to become collateral damage in a life he couldn't fully leave behind. Rebecca stepped closer, her voice softer than it had ever been. She told him she wasn't afraid of his past. She was afraid of losing him. And for the first time, Marcus's walls cracked, not all at once, but enough. Enough for hope to slip through. Healing didn't happen overnight. There were still bad days. Nights where Marcus woke up from memories he couldn't erase. Moments where Rebecca felt powerless, unsure how to help. But they stayed. They chose each other. And slowly, life began to feel less like survival and more like something worth holding onto. Because sometimes love doesn't save you all at once. Sometimes it just gives you a reason to keep going. And maybe that's enough. Before the story ends, tell me, would you have stayed, knowing the truth about Marcus, or would you have walked away? And if this story touched something deep inside you, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Only if it truly meant something to your heart.